Good afternoon. How is everybody?
Good.
Excellent.
Before class starts, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I'm trying to use multiple regex for the password instead of one. And I tried to do an if statement with ands in it, but it's not working.
So, how are you trying to do the if statement with ands?
Well, I've got multiple regex variables, one called that needs one W or one word in it, I think.
Okay.
One that needs a number and one that needs a capitalized
And
letter.
comparing all of
And
those.
one that needs one or 8 characters.
Okay.
So there's 4.
Okay.
And I'm having one giant if statement that tries to match them all up. It says one W regex, which is a non-word character, dot test password value, and one capitalized regex dot test word value. Did that with all of them.
Okay. It should work if your regexes are done properly.
Sorry, say that again.
It should work if you've got your regexes done properly, but without actually seeing them, I don't know.
Okay.
You can use ands.
I
Maybe.
did test them
Okay.
on a website.
Did you test each one individually?
Yeah.
Okay. So I would recommend trying to do 2 at a time and test that and see where the issue is. Or separate them out into separate if statements. Okay, let's get started. It is that time. Let me share my screen because we got all kinds of stuff to do today. We're going to play with Pug today. And when I say we're going to play with Pug, I don't mean we're going to play with an ugly little dog. Instead, we are going to use Pug, which is a view engine, and we're going to use it with Express. And so I think I probably need a new folder here. Documents. Newmont, in class, interactive web dev, node. And I think we're going to create a new folder. We're going to call it Pug Demo. So I didn't mean to offend anybody by saying that pugs are ugly little dogs. They're actually cute in their own ugly little way. All right. Type up CMD. How do I start this project? I'm sure someone can tell me. Yes. So I see in chat npm init, both Colby and Kagan. Oh, pug demo. Yeah, that sounds good. Version, description, entry point, desk command, repo, author. Put me in there. Is that okay? Yes, it is. I need to install some things. We've got our package.json, but we need to do some installations. And so first thing we're going to do is npm install. And no -g in here. We don't want either of these to be global. I'm going to need Express. So let's get Express installed. And then I'm going to do npm. And instead of writing out install, you guys are pretty familiar with the whole install thing. So I'm just going to do npm space I space and install pug. And that's the shorthand for it. And technically, I could have done all this in one command, but I want you guys to remember it, and I'm kind of forcing you through repetition. But if I had wanted to, I could have done npm I express space pug, and that would have done both for me. Just so those of you who have worked with npm before are not like, man, Mr. Beatty's doing it the long way. There's a madness to my method. Yes, I realize it's supposed to be method to my madness, but okay, so that created a node modules folder. And just for your own knowledge, I'm going to do a little properties on that. And oh, Express and Pug only ultimately ended up installing 3,854 files. All right. Cool. This is why you never include your node modules when you submit stuff. Don't zip them in. Keep those out. Put everything else in, but not your node modules folder. Okay, we good? Yes, excellent. Okay, let's go ahead and get some Visual Code going. Visual Studio Code. I'm gonna close all that nonsense. Open folder. Let's see, node, pug demo, select folder. All right. And what am I going to name this thing? We already said what we're going to name it when we defined our file, our package.json.
Index.js.
Yes, index.js. Excellent. And, you know, I'm going to be kind of cool like we were yesterday. I'm going to create another new folder and call it routes because we learned that we can do that and clean things up. And inside routes, I'm going to create a routes.js like we did yesterday, right? Because that made things a lot cleaner. I'm going to create another folder here and make sure that before you create your other new folder, you click outside so that you are not selecting inside the routes folder, but you're doing your top directory. I'm going to create this new folder and I'm going to create a views folder. Ooh. And then while I'm at it, oh, I'm creating that inside my views folder. I want to click back out here, make sure I'm outside views. I'm going to create a public folder. Yeah. Now we got all sorts of folders. We've got our node modules, which holds, well, our node modules. We've got our routes. It's going to be holding our routes. We've got our views, and we're going to be putting our pug files in our views folder. And then I've got a public folder. And the public folder is kind of cool. It's for static files, files that we are not dynamically creating, that we want to be able to access. Some of the things that might go in a public folder are your front end files. Like, for instance, a CSS file. And I think I'm going to generate a CSS file and put it in there. So style.css is inside public. Now, do all of you have cool icons like I do? No, I didn't think so. Especially, some of you do. I think I told the first sprint of Intro to Web how to do this. I never told the second sprint. But if you want the cooler icons, click on this button here, the extensions button, and type in material icon theme, and just install that. And it gives you cooler icons. For a lot of them, it gives you the logos. And I wouldn't worry about it so much, except for the fact that when I start dealing with pug files, you guys are going to be jealous if you don't have the cool icons. And you'll see what I mean a little later. Okay. So we've got our index.js. Let's start coding that. First thing we're going to need is const express And we'll require express, you know, just like we did yesterday, except make sure this is in quotes because that'll be unhappy otherwise. Const pug, and we're going to require pug. So we're going to take our pug library and put it into our pug constant there. Const routes, well, let's do path first. We'll need path. And you might be like, path, what is this path thing? It's one of the defaults that's built into the Node.js. Now let's add our const routes require dot slash routes slash routes. We good? Yeah, sure, whatever. Const app equals express. Set up our express application. App dot set, and we are setting the view engine that we're using. And the view engine that we are using is called Pug. On the old days, Pug was not what everyone used. Everyone used Jade. But the problem with Jade is there was another software application out there with that name, and they sued the makers of Jade and said, you can't call it Jade. And so they changed the name to Pug. So many tutorials on Jade, it's the same thing as Pug. They just changed the file names. It's cool. App.set, and we're going to set up our views folder because remember we created this views directory here. I'm going to say underscore underscore dir name plus slash views. That's telling it where the views folder is. And we're going to do an app.use express.static. We are setting up the static folder for express. Path.join underscore underscore dir name plus public. And so this is basically just telling Express, it's setting everything up so it knows where the views folder is, and that's what we're using for our views folder. And we're also setting up our public directory, which is going to hold any static files, which are, you know, files that we are not dynamically creating. Okay. So let's have some more fun here. App.get. And let's go ahead and put a slash in here. And I think maybe I won't worry about the whole routes thing yet. I'll do a request, response, and we'll change and use the routes in a minute. But for now, just going to do a few things here. And I'm going to say, instead of response.send, I'm going to use response.render. So I'm using my view engine, and it's going to render from the view engine. The page that I want it to render is going to be called index. And inside index, I think I'm going to pass some properties. I want to pass a title. My title is going to be home. Does that work for everybody? Sure, kind of. So if someone goes to the root the root of the domain here, which in our case is going to be localhost colon 3000. But if someone goes there, then it's going to render something called index. It's going to pass in a variable called title. Does that make sense? Yeah, sort of. All right. Well, I guess we better figure out what index looks like. And I think before I create index, I'm going to create a general layout for Pug. Now, where did I say our Pug files go?
Within views.
Within views. Cool. So we're going to create two files. We're going to create a layout.pug. And this is why you would be jealous if you didn't have your cool icons, because you get a full in-color Pug picture there. How can you not love that? And then we're also going to create index.pug. And Pug, the way Pug programs, it's kind of a shorthand. It's a shorthand for HTML. How many have you guys taken Python yet? Okay, then you might hate Pug. Pug is white space dependent. It relies on indents. Dustin just died a little inside. Brian just vanished completely. Maybe he fell over dead. No, okay, he's all right. Initially, you're going to hate it. I'll tell you that now. Eventually, as you start working with it, you're like, oh, this doesn't suck at all. It also doesn't suck with modern IDEs. With Pug, you can indent with either spaces or tabs, but don't mix and match them. Fortunately, with most modern IDEs, when you tab, it's actually putting spaces in, not tabs. Dustin's like, why? Why are you putting us through this?
See, I have a roommate who's currently working in a white space dependent language. It's hell. Like it won't work if you're one space over. And I'm like, ah.
So I won't tell you that I absolutely love Python. With modern IDEs, it's actually a whole lot better. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to say doc type HTML. And that is the equivalent of doing bang doc type. And I'm going to start my HTML file here. I'm going to tab in, and I've got my head here. And so there is no close HTML or close head. So long as something is tabbed in, it means it's inside. And if I wanted to have a link, I can create my link, and I put my parameters in parentheses. So href equals style.css, rel equals style sheet. And if I come out here, I can put my body. And because the body is now at the same level as the head, it means that anything in here is inside the head. I don't have a closed head. Anything tabbed in here is in the body. Are you seeing anything weird here? What's weird about the way I linked to my style sheet?
You put it in the head instead of at the top of the body.
That's where it goes. For the link?
What?
Think about my directory structure. What did I not put in front of style.css that maybe I should have?
You didn't put like what folder it's in.
I didn't. You're right. There's nothing about, well, first of all, I'm technically inside views, but which means theoretically I should have to step up and then go into public, right? I mean, one might think that what I should be doing is ... /public/. So it steps up, goes up a level, outside of views, and then goes into public.
You don't need to do that. Wouldn't
Not-
you just put like a public or /public?
Don't even need to do the public/style. Because, so with that static folder public, it's basically assuming that although the only thing that goes in there are static files, not any files that I dynamically create, as far as what the browser will think is that the stuff in public is on the top level. Does that make sense?
No,
It's so
I don't know what you mean by top level.
it sees the stuff in public as if it isn't really inside.
Oh, it's not in a
A
folder
folder,
at all,
yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's on the top level of the domain.
Okay, I got it now.
Okay. So, and that's going to throw you guys. I guarantee you at least 3 of you are going to mess that up later. And that's okay. I'm anticipating it. Okay, let's create our header. Maybe we want a nav in there. And maybe we want an unordered list. You know, I'll worry about that later. I'm going to get rid of my unordered list for now. I think maybe at the same level as my header, I'll put in a section. Maybe inside there, let's put in a title. And I'm going to do octothorpe or hashtag $, whichever you want to use. And then, very nice dab there, Dustin. And then inside my curly braces, I am passing in that title variable. Do you guys know what the value of that title variable is?
Is it
Well,
null?
it's not. And it's not null because if we look at index.js,
Oh, it's home.
in this case, right now we're modifying our layout, but when we plug in index to the layout, yes, it ultimately will be home. And then I'm going to say block content and put my footer in there. Okay, so block content, I'm going to save that. What this is saying is I'm going to get a block of content from somewhere else and plug it in where I have this statement that says block content. Does that make sense? Is that a little weird? So let's see. Let's go to our index. An index is going to extends layout. And I'm going to go ahead and define that block content. And in this case, I'm just going to say, this is my homepage. And you'll see it's inside a paragraph tag. So what I'm doing here is basically saying when someone goes to index, index is going to use layout and it's going to take this and plug it in wherever block content is. So if I go to my layout, it's going to plug it in right here. Does that make sense?
Hold on. So why wouldn't you extend index instead of layout? And I would say layout should extend index, yeah?
So no, it goes the other way. Because see, what we're doing is layout is universal.
Okay.
And what this is saying here is use layout and then plug in what I have here into layout.
Oh, okay. All
I know
right.
that it seems a little weird. It's going to make sense.
Yeah. Okay.
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 So let's see. Oh, we haven't done anything with our style sheet. We should probably get some sort of styling in there. Maybe. We don't need much, but just so that we can prove that our style sheet's working. So background, black, color, white. Oh, that'd be bad. White, padding, 20 pixels because it bugs me when there's no padding. And that's good enough for now. We'll maybe make that prettier later. All right, how do I run this thing? Odemon, cool. And I'm going to take a look at localhost :3000. And it's giving me gripes. And there's a reason it's giving me gripes, and I know why. Let's go back to our code. And let's go to our index. I'm not listening to port 3000. I should probably do like an app.listen 3000. Save that. And now I should be able to refresh. Ooh, look. I got a web page. And so the cool thing here, maybe you haven't seen the magic or felt the magic, is if I had a whole bunch of pages, let's say, I've got a page 1 and a page 2 and an index and maybe a contact page. I might create those. I can use the same layout.pug to define how they all look. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and let's play with this just a little, because we can. Shall we switch to using routes.js? Yeah, let's tidy it up because we're going to add a bit. So the first thing, remember when we're dealing with routes, we probably want exports index equals, oops, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to go back to my index here, and I'm going to cut out that function that we passed in and make this into routes.index. Paste that there. Oh, hang on a second here. We've got the open on the render. I think I didn't grab enough. Let me go back here. Did I do that wrong? Yeah, I didn't. There. Left some stuff. Okay, so it should look like this for your get. And then here's your exports. And while we're at it, let's copy this and paste it a few more times. Let's see, I said I wanted to create a page 1, and probably the title will change when we pass that in. Page 1. Maybe make yourselves a page 2. And then like a contact page. Contact me. We've got several different routes. We do have some problems here, though, because we want it to render a page one, which means we're going to have to create a page one.pug. We'll have to create a page two.pug, and maybe a contact.pug. So you can go ahead and create those. Page one.pug, page two.pug, contact.pug. And those are going to look just like your index pretty much. So you could even copy this and paste them into your page one. This is page one. You know, copy that here. This is, page two is not as excited as page one is. It's the contact page. I don't want you to contact me. Does that make sense? So all of these are going to extends layout. So this content will get plugged into layout if you try and load any of these. We're still missing one part before this will work. What are we missing? Oh, you've got no CSS. There's something wrong with your CSS? Yeah, we're going to need those links to the pages, but we'll do something else first. So, Josh and Chaz, did you figure out what's wrong with your CSS?
I
Okay.
was trying to copy down what you got.
All right. So, first, Kat, what went really wrong?
Sorry, I was trying to catch up to you two because you were going really fast there.
I'm sorry.
When I pulled up localhost 3000, it looks, I don't even know how to describe how this looks.
You want to share your screen?
Sure. Give me a second. I have too many tabs open.
That's okay. I got to give permissions for other people to do that anyway.
Participation.
Oh yeah, do participation while you're waiting. Thank you for catching that. My apologies, I couldn't think of anything interesting, but I did find a great news source for dad jokes, so you may get subjected to those. Dustin approves.
Would that then in turn make Hasbro a monopoly? Ha!
Kat, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
This is
Yeah, okay. This is saying what you have here is a typo.
it's just a typo. Oh my goodness.
Unfortunately, errors in Pug suck.
They happen. Typos happen.
Yeah, so, all right. It's having a problem between, it looks like after the head. So let's go on and take a look at your code. And this actually looks like it might be an indent problem.
Hold on.
So-
I only shared that one screen. So
Yeah, do you know how to share everything?
Just hit the screen one, I think.
Okay, there you go.
Can you guys see my code now?
Yep.
That's an I, not a 1. What the heck?
Okay, now you've got lock content. That should be block content.
My keyboard doesn't like to. Sometimes it doesn't register that I hit a key, and it's super annoying.
Okay. I am not initially.
Is it because it doesn't say HTML on the top under doc type? Or is it supposed to be like that?
Oh, yeah, create a. So after doc type, hit enter. I wouldn't think that would give you an error, but let's try. So click on the first line, hit enter, and type in HTML right there.
But I have HTML right here.
Yes, but that's like your doc type. That's not actually, that's saying that the document type is an HTML, but it's not actually opening the HTML, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So try rerunning, refresh your page.
Oh,
There we go. Cool.
Thank
Gold
you.
star for whoever solved that. Who's next?
Me with my CS problem.
Yeah, let's solve your
CSS
problem.
problem.
We can solve CSS problems. We do that. So it's just not using the CSS at all? Oh, no, that's not a CSS problem. That's an error problem. So we need a little more code in your index. So do you have your routes done? You do. Cool. Okay. Let's go back and put in routes.index there. Okay, save it and let's see. There you go. But you're right, now we have a CSS problem. That is in your public folder, as it should be. And let's go to your index, or layout.pub rather. Okay. Let's see your page again. Okay, can you bring up, go ahead and bring up your console on the browser. So F12. And yes, you want to be on elements, open up the head here. Okay, so that is, it's converting it into proper HTML. So then the one thing that I would guess perhaps is that things are not set up properly on your public folder. So let's go to your index.js. That actually looks good.
On line 9, it says public. It's supposed to say public.
Oh, yeah, there we go. B there. There we go. Save that. Gold star. Excellent. Who's next?
Thank you. That was super dumb,
Yep.
but it happens all the time.
Yep. Mistakes happen. I don't care how long
I'm
you've been coding.
next.
I've been coding since before all of you were alive. And you guys know I make typos. Okay, who else doesn't have theirs working?
Me.
Share away. Ah, that's interesting. Let's take a look at your code. Let's look at layout first, layout.pug. Okay, can anyone tell me what's going on there?
Brackets, or they're parens instead of curly braces.
Yeah, use curly braces there.
On the title?
Yep. So Octothorpe, curly braces. There you go. Save that. There you go. Anyone else? Or do people just need to see my code now so that they can get caught up?
I has a question because
Yes.
I'm having an interesting error.
We like interesting errors. They have
alright.
interesting answers.
I guess you're right. Okay, so I'm getting this.
Ah, okay. Oh,
Oh,
it
there
all-
goes that. Oh no. There we go.
okay.
No, stop.
It's having all kinds of problems. Let's see.
Yeah, it's having app crashed. Waiting for changes to start.
I
Yep.
think it's because you have autosave on.
Do I oh wait, how do you turn auto
Because
save on?
mine does that on my Visual Studio. I turn autosave on, and it does that every time. I think it means you have an error, but I don't know for sure.
Yes, it does mean you have an error.
Okay.
Let's go to your index.
Okay.
I had this issue yesterday. Something's got to be misspelled because that's what I had
Yep.
yesterday. Was my app crash?
I'm looking through now. Oh, routes. You've got row 2s on line 11.
Oh, okay. Let's see if it runs now. Oh wait, it's localhost, yeah. Do I have to rerun this? Oh,
Ooh, it looks like there's more. Oh, it's not app comma set on line 9. It's app dot set.
oh okay.
How the heck did you see that?
Okay, there we go. He's a trained professional. He has to see these things.
So keep in mind, I have been looking at people's typos for years. On a good day, they just kind of come up. All right. Let's see.
It feels like falling in love. It feels like falling in love.
I'm also getting that.
Maybe mute if you're gonna sing, buddy. Okay, Annabelle, you've got one.
Yeah, same thing. Dustin had.
Okay, let's look at the error here. Let's see what you get. App crashed, waiting for do. Sometimes, as you dig through here, there are hints to what the error is, and it's saying module not found.
Okay.
Let me see, but it looks like it's an internal one. So it can't find Express. Did you do npm install on Express?
I thought I did. Let's see.
Okay, hit Control C and hit Y. There we go. And do npm space I space Express space pug and hit enter. Ew.
Oh,
That seems to have all kinds of unhappy situations.
you want me to make it bigger?
No, let's do this. Let's see your folder that you're working in. And go ahead and delete node modules. Oh, something I probably should have told you guys this before. I will tell you right now. To avoid a whole lot of problems in the future, don't save your stuff to OneDrive.
Oh no.
I'm sorry, at least not when you're working. You'd never want your node modules in OneDrive.
Now you tell me.
Yes, I'm sorry. That will be the bane of your existence. I used to use it all the time. The best thing to do to make backups, work outside of your OneDrive with your node modules. When you want to save your stuff, copy everything but the node modules into a OneDrive folder somewhere. But when you're actually working on stuff, keep away from OneDrive like the plague.
I didn't used to, but like last quarter, Mr. Hudson taught us and told us to use stuff like OneDrive. So like I started doing it.
OneDrive is absolutely great until you start creating projects where each project has 30,000 files. And then all of a sudden, Microsoft fails us all. I've had nothing but problems when I used node folders on OneDrive, and I'm sorry for that. So let's, create a new folder someplace else, do an npm install again, and I have a hunch that it will work, but let's try and see.
Okay. So.
It's taken a while. OneDrive's not real happy when you move around thousands of files at a time. It's its Achilles heel. And I love OneDrive for everything else. Let me use that as a little caveat, but node modules and OneDrive don't play nicely together in the long term.
Right. So I just have to move this outside, I guess, right? And
yeah.
Try it again. All right. Yeah. I'll just be working on this, I guess.
Okay. Let me know if that's a problem. We are just about out of time. I'm going to go through more of this tomorrow. By the way, you'll notice I have not been giving new assignments. So if you have assignments that haven't been turned in yet, like really be turning in those assignments and getting them done, because I am showing you enough information that eventually, and when I say eventually, possibly as soon as tomorrow, new assignments will be coming. It's possible it might be Monday, but if you have not completed the last couple of assignments, please get them done, including those little reading quizzes. We should be done with those, but I've noticed some people have not turned them in, and that's one reason why I have not been going over them. Anyway, go have a good day. I will see you tomorrow. We will do some more with Pug and do some really cool things, and then maybe we'll have a weekend. Also remember tomorrow, let's see, trying to think. No, never mind. I will save that for tomorrow. Anyway, take care. Have fun, guys.